guys, it's Jasmine, and today we're making frittata. Frittata is an Italian dish made with eggs, cheese, meat, and vegetables. It is basically an omelet made in the oven. There are lots of different ways on how to make this. Today I'm using a family recipe. We're going to be making this in a dish and then putting it right into the oven, so it is a very easy process. This is very healthy because there are all types of foods in it. It is great for parties because it's a large quantity and it is very pretty. It is delicious as well, and sometimes I bring this as lunch. You could eat it as dinner as well. This is also very easy to make, so let's get started. For the ingredients you will need: 10 large eggs, 450 grams of potatoes, 1 chicken breast that is boneless and skinless, about 350 grams, 150 grams of king oyster mushrooms or any kind of fresh mushrooms you have on hand, 1 big size onion, about 200 grams, 600 grams of shredded cheddar and mozzarella cheese in total, 20 grams of fresh parsley, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of pepper, and 1 teaspoon of oil. Today we will be needing lots of cheese, so if you're making this recipe in the summer and it's very hot around, you'll need to put both cans of cheese back in the fridge so it does not go bad. Today we will be starting off by preparing our chicken breast and the potatoes. I already have a pot of boiling water on the stove here, and I'm going to start off by peeling my potatoes. Then I'm going to slice them into thick slices, and then I'm going to boil them. After peeling the potatoes, I'm going to slice them into nice and thick slices so that I can see the layers after it's put into the frittata and so that it doesn't break when it's boiling. Potato is boiling, I'm going to slice my chicken breast. Some people like to use bacon or ham in their frittata, but I like to use fresh ingredients, so I'm going to be using a chicken breast. And I'm going to slice it into about the thickness of the potato slices. My potatoes have cooked for 6 minutes. It is just cooked. You do not want to overcook it because we will be cooking it later on in the oven. And if it does overcook, it will break when we put it into the frittata and you won't be able to see the layers. Now I'm going to strain out the potatoes into some cold water for it to cool down. Then I'm going to strain it away. I used the same water that I used to boil the potatoes to boil my chicken. And I'm going to boil this for about 5 minutes. While the chicken breast is cooking, I'm going to prepare my mushrooms and the onions. I have some king oyster mushrooms today. You could use any type of fresh mushrooms you have on hand. Just make sure you wash them and dry them because we do not need any type of moisture in the frittatas. Same with the onion. And now I'm going to slice them into about the same thickness of the potatoes and the chicken. Dice the onions into small cubes. It's been 5 minutes. My chicken are also just cooked. Now I'm going to strain it out and put it in some cold water to cool. My potatoes, chicken breast, onion, and mushrooms are ready. So now I have a big bowl and I'm going to crack all of my eggs into it. I have 10 eggs here, and this is a lot of eggs because this recipe is for 6 to 8 people. After I cracked in all the eggs, I'm going to add the salt and the pepper. I'm using 1 teaspoon of salt today because we're adding in 600 grams of cheese, and cheese is salty, but you could adjust the amount of salt according to your personal preference. Now I'm going to whisk it until everything is all combined. Add in half of both kinds of cheese into the egg mixture. Then I'm just going to fold it in with my spatula. Add in the mushrooms, onions, chicken breast, and mix that through. And then add in the potatoes. And after adding the potatoes, just fold that very gently. You do not want to break them up. I now have a 10 by 10 inch oven safe roaster, and I'm going to grease it by brushing on some oil. You can also use some non-stick cooking spray, but for those ones who do not have this, just brush some oil onto the sides and the bottom of the roaster. Make sure to brush the sides as well. Then just pour everything into the greased roaster, and you want to try to flatten out the mushrooms, potatoes, and the chicken breast so that after it bakes, you can see all the layers. Once I poured everything into the roaster, I flattened it out a little bit. Do not move it around too much because there is oil on the sides and you don't want to blend it into the mixture. Now I'm going to sprinkle on the rest of the cheese over top the mixture. I'm using 600 grams of cheese today, but if you don't want that much, you could cut it down to 400 grams. Now that I have sprinkled on an even layer of cheese, I'm going to place this into the oven, preheated at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 35 minutes. While my frittata is cooking, I have switched over to a new knife and a new cutting board to chop up my fresh parsley for decoration. When it comes to cooking, you want to separate the cutting board and knife you use to chop up raw meat and the things that you're going to eat raw. So now I'm just going to chop this up finely so that I can use it for decoration. And I'm chopping mostly on the leaves. It's been 35 minutes and the top of my frittata is all golden brown. To test if it's done, you could insert a toothpick, and if it comes out clean without anything sticking on it, it's done. The potatoes, onions, chicken breast, and mushrooms form a beautiful layer between the eggs, and it smells really nice because of the cheese. And that's how you make frittata. After cooking it for 35 minutes, it is nice and golden brown on top, so I sprinkled on the chopped parsley and now it's even more colorful. This is a great dish because you could change up the ingredients in it. You could use cauliflower, broccoli, or leek. Just make sure when you put it inside the mixture, it should be dry. This is very simple to make and very delicious. So thanks for watching and see you guys next time. Bye! Victory!